fucking blew it all over again.
So
They've let this neo-Marxist bullshit seep right into the Democratic Party.
Joe Biden is a neo-Marxist.
That's literally why Trump got put in office 4 years ago. Because people got tired of this shit. People got tired of being told they were racist, sexist, misogynistic, and we put Trump in office.
So Joe
So let's do the same thing.
John, Joe Biden is a neo-Marxist? This is news.
No, listen. These people will bend to... Listen, Joe, make no mistake. Joe Biden will bend the knee to these neo-Marxists running the Black Lives Matter movement.
Yeah, that's what we observed prior to this. That the Democratic Party really bent the knee to Bernie Sanders. Yeah, that's what happened.
No, but back then, this neo-Marxist ideology didn't have enough power, but now it does. Now it seeps so heavily into the Democratic Party.
So
it's
powerful.
in every state and every.
It's so
in
powerful,
every city and every state now.
It's so powerful they can't get one of the people who's not really even a neo-Marxist. They can't even get him nominated. That's how powerful they are.
It doesn't matter if he's considering himself a neo-Marxist, Brenda. Get over yourself. They don't care about that.
So yeah, it doesn't matter.
They're going to use him as a pawn. They're going to use him as a pawn.
So it doesn't matter, JonJon. According to you, neo-Marxists are in power.
Biden is a self-proclaimed Marxist. Yes, that does not matter, Brenda. Why would that matter?
Biden is not a Marxist. You're just spouting bullshit. And Bernie Sanders.
I'm not claiming he is a Marxist.
And
that's
Bernie
a straw man. Congratulations, you just played yourself.
Bernie Sanders.
Fucking idiot.
Bernie Sanders, who is not even a socialist.
Try again. Let's start over. Try again.
He's a sock dem. Bernie Sanders is a sock dem, and even he couldn't get the nomination. That's how powerful the neo-Marxists are. They can't get anything.
No, but I just told you already. I'm just going to repeat myself again because you do not listen. Back then, during that election, the neo-Marxist activist did not have enough power.
Yeah.
This is why we had cookie cutters like yourself saying, "Hey, man, where are these people? We don't see them. I understand you're so scared of them, but where are they? They don't exist. Ha ha ha." But now, fast forward a couple years later, it's in every state and every city, and the ideology is clearly seeping its way to the Democratic Party.
Well, it obviously isn't.
Fuck off! You guys are ruining the country.
Exactly the server. This is the server to a T. This is JonJon. This is fucking Zach. This is
what?
It's great.
What are you talking about?
This isn't this. JonJon, it simply isn't the case that these neo-Marxists you're so afraid of hold a great deal of power in America. They don't.
Well, clearly we're not going to see eye to eye on what it means for these people to hold any kind of power, right?
What facts?
Like, I'm not saying there's neo-Marxists in office, right, as politicians and shit. What I'm saying is that there are these trained neo-Marxist activists who are claiming, like, for example, the ones who are claiming to be running the Black Lives Matter movement. It's that type of people. Those people are gaining a lot of traction, Brenda. They've gained so much traction that their ideology has seeped its way right into the Democratic Party to the point where we have white politicians desperately attempting to gain moral superiority by calling out their fellow white politicians as not being woke enough, right?
So the
point is a tragedy.
No, it's not a tragedy. What it is there is today a sea change in that people are no longer accepting the state of affairs that exists, where we have a highly militarized police enforcing, the sort of systemic or cultural racism that's been prevalent in the United States for many, many decades. In fact,
you know who else is saying that? The neo-Marxists running the Black Lives Matter movement.
Yes,
Go figure.
That's true. Neo-Marxists.
Go figure.
That's true. Neo-Marxists are against racism and things like that, but that's not everybody.
It's not that they're against it. It's that's exactly what they're preaching. In fact, they go further than you do because you're a coward, right?
But the fact that
they're not cowards. They say things like, "We want the police to be completely defunded," right?
Yeah. By that,
they're calling for a political revolution while people like you cross your fucking arms and then try to white knight them.
By that, they simply mean to reform the police, and in some cases, what's legally necessary is you defund the police and then sort of rehire them under a different contract or under different political situations, so that you can enact
Yes, and
reforms
just to
because
comment on this,
because
I'm
because
familiar
police
with
unions
this
have an
solution.
excessive amount of power. Yeah.
Right. The problem with this that I was seeing when I looked into the solution is that what these people wanted to do. Well, first off, defunding the police is a bad idea. You want police officers. You can't get rid of the police.
Yeah,
So
defunding the police
I'm not even
is
going to try
not
to address that. That's nonsense.
Definitely do
Yeah.
not want police officers.
defunding the
Definitely
police.
don't
But even the people who say defund the police are not saying that they want to get rid of all police force. That's not what they're saying, John.
Get rid of all the police. Give everyone a handgun.
We have fucking Claire saying it right here.
Yeah,
I don't think Claire is trolling.
Claire is not the movement. She's one person, right?
I'm not part of your faggoty retard movement.
So this
You
is
guys
right.
fuck up.
Right. She's
I
absolutely.
hope every one of
Absolutely.
you dies.
Claire is not the movement.
You're so edgy, Claire.
No,
You've been a bad girl.
I have no interest in like fucking color revolutions by the Open fucking Society Foundation, right? Like I'm not a retard. Of course I'm not involved in
Listen,
that fucking operation.
Brenda.
Any fucking acceleration that's revolution I'm involved in won't have anything to do with the World fucking Bank. Because I'm not a fucking retard.
Anyway, Brenda, the response that convinced me that was bullshit was that basically you don't want to make it so hard to become a cop to the point where no one's a cop anymore, because that's basically what your idea boils down to, is that you want to defund the police completely, almost completely, right? You want to defund the police, and then you want to redo it all. This is exactly what they're wanting to do to America itself.
Again, John.
They want to break down America. They want a complete revolution, right?
No, that's
some
people want that. Some people want that, but that's not. Some people want that, JonJon, but that's not.
The people running the Black Lives Matter movement want that. The people seeping their ideology into the Democratic Party, they want that.
So what they want is
you can't keep
reform.
playing this game, Brenda, that you've been playing for the last fucking decade, where you're just like, where are these people you speak of? These people have no power. Yeah, that's not what we think. That's not what all of us think. Listen, make no mistake. If Joe Biden gets in office, he will bend the knee to these fucking Marxist ideologues.
No, he's not going to. No, that's not going to happen.
Yes, he will. He has dementia.
He has no choice but to, considering these are the people who will put him in office.
No,
they're not. The people who put him in office will be the same people demanding he does these things.
Those aren't the people.
You're insane.
Those are not the people.
You're insane. Why do you think it is the Marxists have enough sense to take over a movement like the Black Lives Matter movement, Brenda?
The Marxists are not
because
the people.
They'll get the black votes. They understand that they're about to get all the black votes. Do you not understand that?
The Marxists,
they have power in that.
John, you have to
don't even
least
see the power they have when they get all those votes.
John, the Marxists are not the ones putting Joe Biden into power. They're just
I said neo-Marxist. You don't even know what the
Marxist
mean by that.
Brenda, the American left is the one starting the ride-in with Biden fucking movement. Biden over Trump was started by the left.
But that's not the people who are going to be, that's not the constituency that is going to be responsible for Biden winning the election. That constituency will be regular Democrats.
They are a coercive force. They started the movement. They're the ones on Twitter. They're the ones on Facebook. They're the ones on
Twitter. Let's give Brenda the benefit of the doubt. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt. Listen, what's the argument for that, right? I get it. You're making crazy claims to convince us.
Twitter does not elect representatives, so Twitter is meaningless.
That's how AOC got elected.
No, she didn't get elected by Twitter. She got elected by votes.
She got elected by a lot of voter fraud.
No, she got elected by votes, and she's
She
has maintained her position by appealing to her constituents. And AOC isn't
which are retarded millennial leftists.
AOC isn't even neo-Marxist. You know, she's
Dude,
a social
AOC
democrat.
Is radical as fuck, Brenda.
She's
Why
a
the
social
fuck are you talking
democrat.
about AOC?
She's a social democrat. She's
but her
Democrats. Wait.
not.
Social Democrats are just retarded Marxists. Social Democrats are just uninformed Marxists.
No,
they're
not.
like Marxists.
No,
they're
not.
like LARPing as a Marxist.
No,
yeah, they are.
They actually aren't.
Yep.
It's social
Yeah, they
Social
are.
Democrat
Social
sounds
Democrats have
oddly
been a
like an
movement for
SJW,
over.
right? Social justice warrior. That's what they mean when they say I'm a social democrat. And guess what? What's the next step when you acknowledge your mission is something like social justice? You're so fucking stupid, Brenda. You can't.
What's wrong with social justice? We
You
want
look towards the people who are leading the Black Lives Matter movement, for example.
Well,
The
there's nobody.
neo-Marxists.
No, there's nobody leading the Black Lives movement. It doesn't have a leader. Anybody can stand
Yeah,
up.
that's what they say.
Anybody can stand up in front of
We're
a
just
microphone.
taking
That's a
what they say
strategy
at
that the
face
left
value,
employs to
Brenda.
make it seem like they aren't a threat.
Yeah, anybody can stand in front
Except
of a
they are.
microphone. Anybody can stand in front of a microphone and claim to be representative of Black Lives Matter, but that's just bullshit. That's not. It doesn't have a leader.
Listen, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna tell you straight up. The Black community right now is experiencing a crisis in faith, in some sense, because the Black community right now they're coming to terms with the idea. In other words, this idea is becoming more and more accessible. It's becoming more and more mainstream. More and more blacks are getting this message that they are merely pawns in a political scheme, that they have been used and abused every 4 years by the Democrats. Now, I'm telling you right now, this could lead to a lot of outrage. We have a lot of blacks who are waking up, who are like, fuck this shit. You know what I mean? So this is a sort of crisis because you got to understand, these people have been told that everyone is out to get them for the color of their skin.
What are you
These
basing
people
this on,
are
John?
completely fucking outraged.
What are you basing this
basing
on,
what?
John? What are you basing that on? You're not
Basing
you're
what
not
on?
what you just said.
What part of what I just said?
Do you remember what you just said? Or is that gone already?
What part of what I just said exactly?
Is it gone already? It's gone, isn't it?
I said about two or three things right there.
What you just said, it's already gone. He's already forgotten what he just said.
I can repeat everything I said. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah, so what are you basing it on?
Like an analysis of history.
How does an analysis of history...
When you take an analysis, when you look back at history, I think the evidence is abundant.
No,
that, like I said, the Democrats, they appeal to the black community around election time.
That wasn't your claim, John. You're claiming that...
So are you really going to deny me things like these politicians are pandering to the blacks for their votes? Are you really going to deny me truths like that?
So,
I mean, come on.
So that wasn't
your
claim. That wasn't your claim,
Black
John.
Lives Matter's leader is a female.
Well, tell me what the claim was. What do you think I said?
Yeah, she's a female Marxist.
You said that blacks are waking up to this.
Which are way more female Marxists are
So
way
you
more
need to-
nefarious
you
than
need
male
to-
ones
you
because
need
female
to
Marxists
provide-
can create an army of simp incel cucks.
So you need to provide. You need to provide actual reasoning for why you think that the African American community is waking up to being manipulated by the Democrats. What is your evidence?
Oh, yeah,
Okay, so I think this is the reason why. This is the reason why. This is the reason why. Because black people, when they're told that they have been used for votes this whole time, what's convincing them is when you say, hey man, like let's say one of you are black, and I'm telling you straight up, hey, listen, dude, these people who you think have your back, these politicians who are telling you to be afraid of the world, causing all this anxiety within you for votes, right? Like
JonJon,
if these people care, listen, long story short, hold on, let me finish.
Yeah.
Long story short, these people expose themselves, right? These politicians using the blacks, they end up exposing themselves because they never ever talk about the actual issues facing the black community, and this is alarming to blacks once they figure that out. Once they figure that out, they're like, yeah, you're right. Why hasn't these people talked about any of this? They're only talking about whites, anti-America this, anti-white this.
Stop talking, John. Stop talking.
No, you've been over-talking me the entire time. You haven't let me...
Stop talking.
Fuck you. You're insane.
Stop talking.
No, you've been extremely unfair to me during this dialogue.
John. Stop talking.
You got to learn how to behave yourself.
Stop talking.
You're a grown-ass woman. Act like it.
Stop talking. Stop talking.
I know. I'm just babysitting at the moment.
Yeah, stop
talking.
Go ahead. Stop talking.
Hey, John.
Say it one more time.
Here's your
claim. John, that's the claim.
We need a safe space, guys.
John,
we need a safe space.
Stop talking.
Can we get a safe space for Brenda?
John, can you hear me? Here's the proof he wants in main
talking,
chat.
John.
That the blacks are leaving the Democratic Party.
Nice.
What is your
I love it.
evidence?
There it
It's,
is.
it's
Right
in main.
there.
It's in text chat.
Oh yeah, the
I don't
Blexit's
see.
a real thing.
So,
Oh shit.
John, what is your evidence? You simply repeated your claim. What is your evidence?
I can't. Like, what I consider evidence is not what you consider evidence. So we can't come to the meeting of the
Fine.
minds
So
on this, unfortunately.
what do you consider evidence? Then show me the evidence.
I
just
think an
wanna see it.
analysis of history. I think a
What more evidence
An
do you
pragmatic.
want,
analysis of
JonJon?
history. An analysis of history isn't evidence that people today
Right.
are that the blacks of today are realizing
Yeah, we don't
they've
have a
been
whole lot of
used.
to learn from history, do we? Right? Like, history's worthless. Like, why would we analyze history? We can't
No,
learn
it
anything
would
from
not
that, can
be
we?
right. That would not be evidence.
Yeah. Right. What a fucking idiot. How do you even wipe your fucking ass?
So you've made a claim, but you can't back it up with any evidence. All you say is, "I analyze history." But that's
Sorry.
still not an argument. I'm waiting for your argument.
There's more. How many articles does he want? Does he want more articles? Hold on, I'll get more.
No, more of your white supremacist websites isn't really evidence.
I have a confession. Like, I think
NBC?
it's not
NBC is
that.
white supremacist? NBC?
I think my anxiety levels are going up, but it's not that bad.
Evidence would take the form of a poll or a survey that had numbers. That's
The
what I
article
want.
has a poll.
I would not.
Open the
I would need.
article.
I would need numbers, right?
And read the
Showing-
article. It has the
showing
numbers
percent
in it.
article. Yes, showing
Yeah,
that
just
would
read the
show
number from CBN.
numbers.
Read the article from CBN that Bacon Bone posted. It'll
Preferably
answer
from
your
far
questions.
left sources. And make sure they're all neo-Marxist sources, please. Yeah, man. We're living in really crazy times. And I've been trying to sound the alarm because I got into the right philosophers. I got really lucky and was listening to the right thinkers. And they told me about this shit a long time ago. And I've been trying to spread the word. And, like, you know, it just sucks because now I get the last laugh, but there's no pleasure in it. Like, we are in a crazy time right now. I was right all along. Jordan was right all along. Brett was right all along, right? And then you got people like fucking Brenda, right, who are just still in the closet. They're still in a state of cognitive dissonance. And that shit's worrisome because it's not just Brenda, it's a lot of people. Like, we are in such crazy times right now. Like, it just sucks. Like, it's raising my anxiety levels a little
You
bit.
still haven't given me any evidence. And no, the Christian Broadcasting Network is not an authoritative source. An opinion piece at the CBN is not credible evidence. You know,
But they're
Yeah.
quoting a poll that
Hey,
was
Claire.
done, though.
What?
yeah, polls can be faked.
Okay, so you're just
Have you
going to
ever heard of
ignore
the,
any poll that you
Someone
don't
said my
like.
name. What?
Listen, I want to ask Claire this, and anyone else can try to tackle it too. But there's this crisis. I think it's relevant. I think Brenda would help her out too. But it's basically we're in some kind of crisis of it's like a science crisis of reproduction of experiments.
Yes.
Like, we can't replicate
reproducibility
experiments very efficiently.
Right,
Can
science.
some of you guys shed light on that? Because I can't remember
what it
most of it.
is there are a whole bunch of quote unquote sciences, mostly the soft sciences, but even hard sciences like physics experiments, right? Where all these claims are being made in these studies, right? But every time someone else who's not affiliated with the original entity that created these studies goes to try and reproduce them, you know, take the same fucking format, take the same type of variables, do everything exactly the same, get the same results, right? Results aren't lining it up at all with what you'd expect the variation to be, meaning that the original studies are flawed, right? So they're asserting things that actually aren't true. And this is happening more than half the time that scientific articles are being tested, meaning that more than half of claims made by quote-unquote scientists are false. Meaning that you should be
Right, but does that
extremely
mean
careful,
also?
especially in the soft sciences like social, like
But can it
sociology,
go in both
psychology.
directions? Can it go in both directions though? Like for example, can you fail to reproduce an experiment, but it still be truth to what you were getting at in the first place still, instead of
Yeah,
just
I mean,
dismissing it as well?
if the second group is just doing it wrong, right? Then your original experiment could be correct. Or the alternative explanation is that things aren't necessarily the same in different times and different places. So both people might have been correct because their experiment might have different outcomes at different times and different places, right? One of the
Right.
axioms of science is that the laws of nature are universal and constant, and there is no justification to assume that. We just take that to be true, even though there's actually a bunch of evidence to the contrary.
Yeah, the
Because
universal
every time we test things
applicability
like
is
G,
very justified.
which is
Yeah.
the gravitational constant, or every time we test things at the speed of light, they
Well,
actually
I want to
vary.
add something
They
to
vary
this.
so
I want to.
much that we redefined the meter so that it would be based on the speed of light, because we were tired of the fact that the speed of light wasn't actually the number that we would put it out in meters per second, because it constantly changes.
Yeah,
There
that's
is no
not how
constant
we.
speed of light.
Yeah, that's not how. Yeah, that's not
Right.
true. That's not true.
Yeah, let me actually show you the documentation that it is the fact.
No,
Brenda,
that's not
that we
true.
changed
That's
the
not
definition of the meter to be a fraction of the speed of
Oh,
light
the meter.
in the 60s, specifically because we couldn't get the fucking speed of light to be consistent in meters per second. It's
Except
literally
it is.
true.
It is.
You don't know what
consistent.
you're talking about.
It would seem
Well,
that if light
Brenda's about
is
to invoke the deconstruction of Derrida on that ass, Claire. You better be careful.
if it would seem if light was something traveling through a medium, like a photon traveling through a medium, that it could
Even in a perfect vacuum, it's
have
not
different
consistent.
speeds. It could conceptually have different speeds, right?
Listen,
Right,
even
so
in a
the
perfect vacuum, it's not consistent, which is the
so-
problem, because it was one of the axioms of science that it would be consistent, right? Relativity relies on the notion that there is a universal speed limit and it is fixed. Unfortunately, there isn't a universal speed limit and it is also not fixed.
That's interesting.
Here's my intuition.
None of this is true. The replication problem is about people using bad methodology in the social sciences, right?
Yeah, of course, that's what a neo-Marxist would say. Of course, a neo-Marxist would lean towards that explanation. That way, it could fit into the narrative that it's all oppressor and it's all racist. The sciences are racist, all that shit.
I'm not a neo-Marxist, JonJon.
You're just a Marxist?
No,
You're just
I'm not a
Marxist?
Marxist at all. I'm not.
Here, if you want to say
I'm
that
not.
I'm wrong, why don't you read this fucking article on Quora, where a whole bunch of people
never
explain it in the same
Oh,
context
there you
that I
go.
did.
There, that authoritative source called Quora. Yes, yes.
Oh, you think that if everyone agrees on Quora, it's not probably the case? Okay,
I
how
don't
about
think
physics
that-
stack exchange?
how about-
Should we do that one?
How about Einstein? Let's read him.
Why would Einstein be
Because he was the one
relevant
who
100 years later? Do you think science hasn't moved on in 100 years?
No,
you
but he
fucking
was the
retard?
one. He was the one who gave the initial reasoning for why the speed of light is constant in a vacuum.
Yeah, but it's not. So here's a science stack exchange article where a bunch of physicists discuss why speed is no longer defined as 2.99792458 meters per second and how it came to be that it was redefined. Go ahead and read that and then tell me that I'm fucking ignorant.
So
you
what
dumb
the
piece
actual
of shit fucking
so what
LARPing
the
retard.
actual number so what the actual
Never
number
actually touched this
is
topic in your life.
so what the actual number is different than the reasoning for why the speed of light is constant to all observers.
Good afternoon, boys and girls. How we all
This
doing
is
on
from
this fine and
the
lovely
article.
day?
This is one of the random posts in there, right?